Madam Speaker. And I rise to speak to this ministerial report on power. But I'd like to just begin my remarks by addressing the comments from the member for 𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒕𝒚. So we came in here today to talk about the NT's power system in preparation for the bill tomorrow, which I think is one of the, in terms of the overall structure of the territory, I think it's probably one of the more, after Declan's laws, probably, and our crime reforms and territory coordinators, probably one of the more substantive things that we're going to do in terms of its long-term effects on the territory. So this is very serious. People need, when they turn the lights on, they need the power to come on. People rely on power. So it's a serious topic. And the member for 𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒕𝒚 comes in here, and instead of playing the ball and dealing with the issue, he plays the man and goes off on a rant about something completely separate, which was dealt with in Parliament yesterday. As a former minister, he should know that sometimes there's things that he can't talk about. He needs to make a public statement and then allow the processes to carry on, but he chooses to play politics, which is a shame. But he does that because he knows that he's got no record to stand on, Madam Speaker. He's the worst Attorney General in NT history who oversaw the burgeoning crime crisis exploding out of control. In his own electorate, more people chose to go out bush onto homelands instead of being forced to vote for that little boy. That's what we're dealing with. Of 6,132 people enrolled, only 1,654 voted for him, 27%. But I move on. The theme of the previous Labor government was announcements with no substance. They loved announcements. I'm sure they watched the ABC comedy Hollow Men, and instead of taking it as a comedy, they took that as a recipe book for how to run a government. Chasing announceables. What are we going to announce today? What can we announce? Don't worry about actually delivering on it. Don't worry about actually, how are we going to pay for it? Don't worry about how much is in the budget. Let's just announce it. Let's announce a clinic for Maningrida. Let's announce the road to wadeye. Let's announce this, let's announce that. How are we going to pay for it? Don't worry about that. Just announce it, put her on the program of works, she'll be right, mate. And then when people come back and say, what's happening with the clinic in Maningrida? What's happening with the road to wadeye? Yeah, we're working on it. Meanwhile, the whole time they knew there was no cash allocated. It was off in fairyland. It was a castle in the sky. The former Labor government loved to make announcements without considering how to actually get it done. They signed up the Bachelor Solar Farm with ENI. They had no plan of how to manage that power. Renewable energy is great. We all love renewable energy here. I can't wait to put solar panels on my roof. We use solar down at the farm to pump water. We love renewable energy. But you've got the power system has to be matched from millisecond to millisecond, supply and demand. People go to university and study for years to be able to understand all the mathematics of how to manage a power system. You've got to have supply and demand matched second to second perfectly. You can't have, if you've got a solar farm pumping out power and then a cloud goes over, you've got to have something to balance that out. You can't just have, a big chunk of the grid fall over. And so what do? Instead of actually planning, instead of actually dealing with it, instead of commissioning a battery to smooth out the supply, putting in a control system, so that could be managed, what do? They just didn't connect it. So we had a solar farm at Bachelor. I can't speak to the one at Katherine, but I can speak for the one at Bachelor. I drive past it, whenever I go down to visit, people I know in Bachelor, you drive past it. It's all there, those solar panels, diligently turning to face the sky, turning to face the sun. And for what? Nothing. For years and years and years, all that power just being wasted because the previous Labor government could not be organised to actually connect it properly. Yeah, I pick up on the interjection from the opposition leader there, but she knows that she failed too. She was the Minister for Essential Services.
Okay, that's enough. No
Anyway,
interjections. Silence.
I move on. Labor, the previous Labor government got drunk and then they blame us for the hangover. It's not, we aren't the ones who got drunk. They had a party for 8 years, spending taxpayers' dollars. Now here we are to clean up the mess. We're the ones dealing with the hangover. Territorians are the ones dealing with the hangover. And then they're blaming us for having a sore head. No. It was the previous Labor government who got drunk. They were the ones who signed us up for things without considering how to actually deal with it. Now here we are to clean up the mess. I'm going to be supporting the bill tomorrow. I'd just like to speak about, in terms of my electorate, why the in 𝒕𝒏𝒊, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow, is so important. So in my electorate, my suburbs of Maldon and Woodruff, and Driver in the member for Drysdale's electorate, power outages have been a huge topic of conversation recently. So the most recent one was on the 20th of October from 7:45 p.m. to approximately 9:30 p.m. So Maldon and Woodruff and Driver were affected. There were, the issue was some sort of a problem in the underground power cables. So I just want to take the moment to say thank you to the hard-working lines people in Power and Water who are on call and will come out day or night, rain or shine, and they will do their best and work hard to restore power to Territorians. So they were fantastic. They were, instead of being at home with their family enjoying dinner, they rolled out 7:45 p.m. and they went out there and fixed that power cable. But in the meantime, there were 3 suburbs of people who had mums putting their kids down, bubs, toddlers, who were unable to, kids trying to put. I was here when Jacob was, how old was he? About 18 months old when Cyclone Marcus hit, and all the power went out for days. And trying to put down an 18-month-old when there's no power and no fans and no aircon, no nothing, is hard. So there was 3 suburbs of people who had to suffer in the heat with no fan, no aircon and no warning. On the 15th of October, from about 7:10 p.m. to about 9 p.m, I don't have the exact time when it was resolved, another outage. And before that, there was another outage on Maguire Circuit, and I think that one lasted a bit longer. Our power system is in dire need of attention. After 8 years of neglect, it needs attention. It is essential to take action and create an entity which will be wholly and solely focused on running the grid and undertaking the investment required. So thank you, Madam Speaker.